The night was eerily quiet, a suffocating calm that blanketed the city. Hidden beneath its glittering skyline, an unmarked van cruised through the deserted streets, slipping into the shadows. Inside, 50 strangers sat in tense silence, each trying to piece together how they had ended up there. None of them remembered exactly how they were taken, but each had received a mysterious black envelope with an invitation, promising unimaginable wealth. They thought they were being recruited for a competition. But as the van came to a stop and the doors swung open, dread clawed at their hearts. They were led into a massive underground arena, its cold metallic walls glistening under the dim lights. High above them, balconies stretched endlessly, packed with masked spectators, wealthy elites who had paid to watch the spectacle unfold. In the center of the arena, the 50 contestants stood in a circle, their faces painted with fear and confusion. All around them, masked guards, armed and silent, stood ready to strike at any moment. A booming voice echoed through the arena, sending chills down their spines. "Welcome to the death games," the voice said. "You are here because you seek a second chance, a chance to turn your lives around. But remember, only one of you will leave this place alive. The rest will pay with blood." Panic rippled through the group. Some cried out in protest. Others begged to be released, but their pleas were met with silence. The reality began to sink in. This wasn't a game. They had been lured into a deadly contest where the only prize was survival. The first challenge began without warning. The ground beneath them shifted, revealing a sprawling maze of traps, sharp blades, and hidden snares. "You have 10 minutes to escape the maze," the voice announced. "The slowest will not survive." The maze was alive with danger. Walls moved, floors collapsed, and hidden blades swung out of nowhere, cutting through anyone unlucky enough to stand in their path. The air was thick with the sounds of screaming and the sickening thud of bodies hitting the ground. For those who made it through, there was no time to grieve. They had survived the first round, but the horrors were only beginning. Among the survivors was Mia, a quiet but fierce woman who had spent her life scraping by. She wasn't rich, wasn't powerful, but she was a fighter. She hadn't come for the money. She had come for her daughter, who needed life-saving surgery. She knew this was her only shot. But as she saw the terror unfolding around her, she wondered if the cost would be too great. Round after round, the games grew more brutal. In one challenge, they were forced to cross a narrow bridge, suspended over a pit of spikes. The catch: only 2 could cross at a time, and there was no guarantee the bridge would hold. The weakest were left behind, their screams echoing as they fell to their deaths. In another round, they were given weapons and told to thin the herd. Trust shattered instantly. Friends turned on friends, alliances broke, and the arena was soaked in blood. Mia found herself alone, hiding in the shadows, watching as the others fought for survival. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she couldn't afford to lose her nerve. She had to stay strong, for her daughter. The masked spectators watched with amusement, betting on who would survive each round. To them, this was just entertainment. But for the contestants, it was life or death. Each challenge was a twisted test of their willpower, their cunning, and their humanity. Slowly, the group dwindled down to just 5. The final round was announced, and the remaining contestants were brought to the center of the arena. "Only one will leave," the voice said again. "This is your last chance." In the middle of the room, a single gun was placed on a pedestal. The instructions were clear. The last person standing would win. Mia's stomach turned as she stared at the gun. She had come too far to turn back now, But could she live with herself if she took another life? The others didn't hesitate. A brawl broke out as they scrambled for the gun. Mia ducked, narrowly avoiding a blow to the head, and grabbed a metal pipe from the floor. The fight was brutal, each of them desperate to survive. Blood and sweat mixed as the arena became a battlefield. In the chaos, Mia saw her chance. The gun slid across the floor, landing just within her reach. She grabbed it, her hands trembling as she pointed it at the last remaining contestant, a man who had been ruthless from the start, killing without remorse. He looked at her, his eyes wild with fear. But before he could move, she pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the arena, and the man fell to the ground, lifeless. Mia stood there, her chest heaving, her mind reeling from what she had done. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers hollow in her ears. The booming voice returned. "Congratulations, Mia. You are the winner of the death games." The masked guards approached her, handing her a suitcase full of money. But as she stared at it, the weight of her victory crushed her. She had won, but at what cost? The faces of the fallen haunted her, and she knew that no amount of money could erase the horrors she had witnessed. As she was escorted out of the arena, the doors closed behind her, sealing the nightmare inside. But Mia knew it would never truly leave her. The death games had taken more than just lives. It had stolen her soul,